So how efficient is the Hyundai Ioniq 6? Well, Hyundai claim this is not only their most efficient electric vehicle, but the most efficient electric vehicle on the Australian market. It's capable of 14.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. Now, for context, a Tesla does it in around 15, but most cars sit around the 20 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometre mark. So to find out, we're actually here in Yackandandah in Victoria's north. I've got to drive between here and Wangaratta, which is it's a bit of a country tour. So there's going to be hills, valleys, braking, steering. So driving the car to try and use some of its regenerative nature to see how that efficiency map goes. Then when I hit the Hume Highway, I'm going to put the car into 110 kilometre an hour active cruise control and see how it goes until I get to Euroa, where I'm going to fill it up again at the high-speed charger there. So we'll get two parts of this trip as far as efficiency goes. I'll keep an eye on it and I'll come back to you when we get to Euroa and we can start to go through the results. Will this car get close to, or even best, its 14.3 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometre efficiency claim? Well, me and my army of wasps will find out. For this experiment, we're in the entry-level Ioniq 6 Dynamic. This is the single-motor rear-drive variant with the 18-inch Aero-Design alloy wheels and regular mirrors. The rather striking Smurfy blue paint is called Bite Blue and is a no-cost option. The first part of our journey has us heading west from Yackandandah in northern Victoria through to Wangaratta on the Hume Freeway. It's approximately a 53-kilometre drive. Here the road changes between 100 kilometres an hour on open stretches through to 80 kilometre an hour zones as it gets tighter, all the way down to 40 kilometre an hour sections as we drive through towns, including the famous high country waypoint of Beechworth. In these conditions, the car can use its regenerative systems to manage power use. We've used cruise control as much as possible and kept the car in its normal drive mode with the air conditioning on. As you can see on the screen, our trip started with a range of 283 kilometres and a total journey of 140 kilometres. This means, in theory, we should arrive at the Euroa charger with a 143 kilometre range left. As we get closer to the freeway, the average energy use is shown as 15.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, with a range of 224 kilometres but still 85 kilometres to our destination. Basically, that means our range from Euroa has dropped from 143 k's to 139 k's, which means for every 5 kilometres we travelled, we used just over 5 kilometres worth of energy. Okay, well, we've done our first part of our journey, which is the run from Yackandandah here to the Hume Freeway in Wangaratta. And if we have a look down here, you can see we're averaging 15.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres so far on a 53-ish kilometre journey that it's taken us. So now here, looking at the Hume, we've got another 86 kilometres to go to our charging station there in Euroa. We'll see where it goes. But I'm going to go through and change our drive information here, and I'm going to reset that so that we can start from this part of the freeway on a fresh set of data, but we'll keep the accumulated information. Where is it? There it is there. So stand by and let's see how we go. For this section of the Hume Freeway between Wangaratta and the charging station in Euroa, we have about 85 kilometres to travel at 110 kilometres an hour. Again, we're using cruise control and the car remains in its normal setting. Even the windscreen wipers are on. Here, the energy use climbs even higher. The trip meter was reset when we joined the freeway and it quickly started averaging around 18 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. That means for every 5 kilometres we travelled on the freeway, we used about 6 kilometres worth of our range. However, about 15 kilometres out from the charger, I switched my average speed from 110 kilometres an hour to 100 kilometres an hour, or a 10% drop in cruising speed. And here, I almost immediately noticed the efficiency started to improve. Right, well, welcome to sunny Euroa. Now, here is some interesting stuff. We averaged out 16.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, so a bit less than what Hyundai claimed, but we were pretty jolly close in that first stint. The interesting thing is here, of our total last stint that we did, which was roughly 85 kilometres, we did the last 15 kilometres at 100 kilometres an hour as opposed to 110 kilometres an hour. And we dropped significantly from 18 kilowatt hours per 100, where it basically sat the entire trip, down to 17.3. Now, if you give me a moment, I'll charge the car, do a bit of quick maths, and we'll work out how this actually equates, because I dare say that running at 110 was probably the least efficient driving that we could do. Sitting down to 100 was probably far better, but perhaps if we sat at 80, we could probably do even more about where Hyundai claims. So off to the calculator and to the coffee shop, and we'll come up with some results. So, a very interesting result. Our 140 kilometre total trip ended up using about 160 kilometres worth of range as the car saw it in Yackandandah. Our change in cruising speed on the freeway dropped the average to 17.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, which means that last 15 Ks reduced our average from 18 to just 14 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, lower than Hyundai's claim of 14.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. What's more, on my final run back into Melbourne, I had to stop for a quick radio interview, at which point the car reset its drive readings. From there back home, a roughly 92 kilometre trip, I averaged 13.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, a 5% improvement on Hyundai's claim, travelling at an average speed of 88 kilometres an hour. So again, showing that a lower but still reasonably high average speed can be far more efficient. Well, here we go. We're back in Melbourne. Clearly, new day and some pretty interesting information that we've got from our drive back from Yackandandah. The speed that we were travelling obviously makes a massive difference. So if you can keep your speed at around 100, your efficiency will be somewhere between 7 and 10% better than if you go up to 110 on the freeway. But perhaps the most interesting part was that final stretch into Melbourne, 90 kilometres at 13.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. That not only meets but beats Hyundai's claim of 14.3. Does that make the Ioniq 6 the most efficient electric vehicle on the Australian market? Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to put this in an efficiency trial against its mortal enemy, the Tesla Model 3, to find out. But in the meantime, if you've got any questions about the Hyundai Ioniq 6, any of these efficiency trials, if you've got a better efficiency claim and you'd like to share with us, hit us up in the comments below or head on over to Drive.com.au.